I am still in the woods, coming at you from the San Bernardino Mountains in California and having to deal with this. The judge in desperately seeking validation's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, he is big mad at me. If you don't know, I am Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, world-renowned journalist, media commentator, TV personality, podcaster, and your number one source for everything it ends with us saga. Earlier today, Judge Lyman said, quote, recently, a number of filings in this case have included intemperate language. Pause. I felt the need to share with everyone the definition of intemperate. That means having or showing a lack of self-control. Immoderate. Guilty of that. Recently, the judge says, a number of filings in this case have included intemperate language and personal attacks against parties, their counsel, and the court. Yeah. He tells everyone, all individuals filing documents in this case, whether represented or not, are advised that they shall not, in any submission to this court, use language that is disrespectful of the parties, their counsel, or the court. So it's just advice. All right, I will consider that advice. I will seriously consider that advice. The judge specifies, this includes, but is not limited to, using demeaning nicknames for parties or their counsel. I think ethically challenged Ezra might have filed something that I haven't seen yet. The judge says, this includes, but it's not limited to, using demeaning nicknames for parties or their counsel, or accusing the court of being in words or in substance biased, criminal, or corrupt. I can't say I think the judge is biased? That's ridiculous. No, but seriously, why should a pro se movement not be allowed to tell the judge he or she thinks they're biased? That's BS. The judge tries to dumb it down, saying, in other words, parties addressing the court in writing should use the same respectful language that they would use in person in open court. This judge must not know who I am. If I was representing myself in court, well, you know what? Fair. I would probably behave differently in court, because if I was in court, that would mean that judge would have jurisdiction over me. It would mean that judge could sanction me. But this judge doesn't have jurisdiction over me. He doesn't. Oh my God, he takes it a step further and dumbs it down even more. Judge Lyman says, for avoidance of all doubt, this, okay. I appreciate this. Okay. The judge is biased and seemingly, in my opinion, in this video, corrupt. But, in my opinion, in this video alone, but he's trying to save face. He says, for avoidance of all doubt, this order does not prevent any party or non-party from vigorously arguing on behalf of their clients or, when appearing pro se, on behalf of themselves or from asserting publicly that a decision of this court or any other court was wrongly decided, or that an argument prompted by a party or non-party is incorrect. Okay, good, and good to know. He wraps up things saying failure to comply with this order, i.e. use of such language in any court submission, may subject the infringing party to risk of contempt. May and risk. This ruling, this order, this letter does not say that it will. It said that it may. And it may be the risk of that. This is a slap of the wrist. And you know what? I think me going so hard paid off. And it worked. Because, why am I crying? I'm that tired, y'all. I am drained. But this is bigger than me. I truly believe it. This is not even just about me. This is bigger than me. So, let me take a break and work on my response. And we're back. I'm glad that I'm using this as an opportunity to proofread once more, because I did take this very seriously. And my intention, as you read this, is to strike a tone of defiance, but also respect. I am outraged, but also responding within the bounds, the parameters of what the judge has set. That is my goal. Let me know if you think I achieved that. Here we go. Dated August 8th, 2025. Response to judge's order, docket number 581, and request to permanently seal or permanently redact. Judge Lyman, I, Mario Armando Lavandeira Jr., known professionally as P to the E to the R to the E to the Z, H to the I to the L to the T to the O to the N, write as a non-party in Lively versus Wayfarer Studios, LLC, in response to docket number 581, which I believe is aimed at me personally. I'm going to tweak that a little bit, just say in response to your order, docket number 581, which I believe is aimed at me personally. I respectfully inform this court that Us Weekly recently ran a headline that read, Blake Lively slams me in court for calling her Ku Klux Khaleesi, says he's not a journalist. I believe it is important for this court and counsel for both parties to see what this all has degraded into. Hence, citing the Us Weekly headline. This case was supposed to be about alleged, in italics, this case was supposed to be about alleged sexual harassment and an alleged smear campaign that began in August of 2024. According to the lawsuit Miss Lively filed with this court in December of 2024. Remember? The smear campaign began last August. She filed her lawsuit in December. It's now August of 2025. I continue telling the judge, I have extensively covered the It Ends With Us mess since the very beginning. Miss Lively is almost 40 years old. Prior to her handling of matters in this case, she used to be very close friends with Taylor Swift. one of the people I most frequently talk about on my website and social channels. Miss Lively's fans and people who are aware of her are my core audience, mostly women of a certain age. The Gossip Girl viewer grown up. Of course, I was going to go big in covering this all. And unfortunately for Miss Lively, no one gave me any information regarding her or her glaringly unprofessional behavior towards the Wayfarer defendants at any point in 2024. Last year, not a single... Actually, you know what? I'm going to change this. Pause. This makes it better. And unfortunately for Miss Lively, no one gave me any information regarding her or her glaringly unprofessional behavior towards the Wayfarer defendants at any point in 2024. In fact, defendant Melissa Nathan called me irrelevant and insulted me in a text message to Justin Baldoni last year, which has been entered into evidence in this trial. In 2024, not a single person shared any information with me that I used in my reporting on this mess. Not a single email, not a single text or any other communication with a source exists from last year, when Miss Lively claims this alleged smear campaign began way back in August. Parentheses, I am happy to put this all in a sworn declaration. In parentheses, I am happy to put this all in a sworn declaration or affidavit. Miss Lively has targeted over 107 creator journalists with subpoenas, either directly or through the tech giants. This court thinks that's normal or appropriate? Thus far, you have approved of that behavior. Respectfully, I believe that is reprehensible of Miss Lively and you. This court is now handling and making rulings on multiple First Amendment issues that affect me and many others across the country. How you are deciding these things has serious and real consequences for the future of journalism. I am a journalist. You or Miss Lively may not like the kind of journalist I am. That doesn't take away the fact that I am a journalist. I do not like Sean Hannity, but he's a journalist. I do not like Donald Trump, who appointed you to this job, but I still acknowledge that he is the President of the United States. I will honor this court's request going forward to refrain from I am now honoring and will continue to honor this court's request going forward to refrain from clever nicknames in court filings, even though you have shown little care publicly for my request to help ensure the safety of my family. I am shocked and beyond disappointed that you would not err on the side of caution with regards to a pro se movement. I am still hurt and outraged that you denied my simple request for a protective order to keep all of my personal information private. Miss Lively and her lawyers had every ability to file redacted versions of the home addresses of non-parties, but they did not. And you allowed that reprehensible behavior. Let me soften that. Okay, this is better. I am still hurt and outraged that you denied my simple request for a protective order to keep all my personal information private. Miss Lively and her lawyers had every ability to file redacted versions of the home addresses of non-parties, but they did not. And you allowed that reprehensible, in my opinion, behavior to take place on your docket, time and time again, repeatedly, for months. I also had no reason to believe that the Lively legal team would honor this court's already established practices protecting confidentiality, as they have repeatedly been accused of leaking information to the press. To that note of my family's safety, earlier this week, I filed another request to permanently seal or permanently redact the subpoena against me that Ezra Hudson submitted to your court as evidence on August 6th, Exhibit A of docket number 565. I have not seen my request from this week on your docket yet, and I am using this letter as another request to permanently redact or seal my home address in that filing and all previous and future filings, automatically, without me ever having to request that. Also, for the sake of transparency, please correct me if I'm wrong. It is my understanding, representing myself here pro se, without an attorney, that you do not have any jurisdiction over me. I am not a party to this lawsuit. I have zero connection to New York. Inspired by the words of Ryan Reynolds, what are you going to do? Sanction me for hurt feelings? I was dragged into this mess by Miss Lively, unnecessarily. Everything she is asking of me, she can get that from the Wayfarer defendants. How she goes about that is up to her and her lawyers. As a journalist, I know my rights. What Miss Lively is asking of me is wrong. I will not give up my protected sources. I am willing to go to jail for that. As someone who is watching this case daily, I am in strong disagreement with how you continue to handle it. And I thank the court for, as you stated in your order today, giving me this opportunity to respectfully disagree. I had to reword this next part a few times. Let's see if it makes sense. I truly hope Miss Lively is unafraid to litigate my subpoena in Nevada, the appropriate venue, because I respectfully share that it is my opinion that you may be strongly biased in favor of Miss Lively, and I may not be able to get a fair outcome in your court. I literally edited it in real time. The court jester always spoke truth to power. The court jester is alive and well, and his name is P to the E to the R to the E to the Z, H to the I to the L to the T to the O to the N. Me. Submitted, Mario Armando Lavandeira Jr. Mic drop. Y'all, this really It's just crazy. It's all so crazy. And it makes me sad. I'm sure most of you know, but this case in real time is just another reminder that there are two legal systems in this country. One for normal people and one for those with unlimited financial resources. And I have done nothing wrong. I'm not afraid of Blake Lively. I'm not afraid of this judge. And I think this letter, the way I expressed myself, communicates my every sincere thought. Outrage, hurt, disgust, disappointment, shock, incredulity, skepticism, everything. And this is also ongoing with other journalists that she has tried to do the same with. Ridiculous. All right. I am now going to meet up with friends and take a much needed break. The video that I made yesterday, the one with the headline, "Did I Go Too Far?" Thank you to everyone. I'm still the comments I read. I didn't get a chance to respond to everybody, but the comments to that video, thank you is not enough, but it's a beginning. It's a start. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll try to respond to as many of you as possible, or some at least, even though I'm going to be with friends. How do you think I did with this letter? Thoughts on anything and everything? Let's discuss it all in the comments section.